Scott Peluso is Executive Vice President at Interloc Solutions, leading cloud, support services, and marketing with a deep focus on customer success. He's been recognized as a 2025 IBM champion and plays a key role in shaping enterprise cloud strategies that actually work in the real world. Scott's not just sharp, he's sincere. He genuinely loves helping people get the most out of Maximo and asset management. Skip Snyder is the Chief Operating Officer at Interloc Solutions, leading the charge on strategy, innovation, and getting things done. He's landed over $1 billion in business through over 500 successful projects and built global teams that deliver real impact. Skip's known for making bold ideas practical and bringing sharp focus and energy to every challenge he takes on. Skip and Scott, welcome to the stand.
Skip, Scott, really great to have you here as guests on the stand. Good morning.
Good morning, Terrence.
Wonderful. So what's a lot of movement here at Maximo World with the new Maximo Application Suite. Customers trying to figure out what to do and how to do, and it's a wide range of customers, all the way from gas station chains to secret, secure government facilities. So, what's new out there? What's all this shakeup with Maximo Application Suite?
I think a lot of it's the new technologies that are available in there. A lot of the clients I'm talking to are, I'm not worried about those new technologies right now. I'm worried about manage. What are some of the things that I need to do to get myself to, just onto the suite itself and do the upgrades. That's where a lot of it's starting. And a lot of it, I think, is a lot of discussions we're having really starts with, making some decisions up front, like, for example, cloud. Right.
Yeah, so many clients have the traditional Maximo on site or on premise. Is that the future, or is that starting to change? Are you seeing more and more people hosting on the cloud? And what's the advantage and the disadvantage?
I think it's a huge change, right? Not that there's a lot of difference in the last two versions, but for some reason, as Skip said, the introduction of new technologies, the growth of Maximo, and, as we see in this world, unfortunately, security and just those kinds of things that are happening really are starting to see many, many more customers evaluating the cloud. And I think one of the things to play off on Skip's part about technology, the first year or so when MAS first came out, everybody was really scared about the technology. And IBM did a really good job, and I think all the partners did. We had kind of all started to tell the same story about it's a hurdle, but it's not insurmountable. And, once you get past that, and you can start to avail yourself of, more than manage. And I think here, you're starting to see it this year. People are talking monitor, predict health. So the like for like of previous versions, this is where this is different, because it's not just manage. You have so many more options. And doing it in the cloud gives customers the ability to expand everything at the same time.
Well, and it's interesting because what I hear sort of through the beginning part of your statement is that where it used to be people said, I can't go to the cloud because of security. Now you're saying I'm going to the cloud because of security.
Yeah.
So it's been a sort of a switch, right?
Certainly has.
Yeah, I think a lot of, there's a lot of security that these clouds have implemented, and it's just one of those things. But has Maximo Application Suite has introduced this higher technology, it's easier, cloud hosting, managed services really allows the customer to then focus on their business, right? So they can come to a partner such as us or whomever, and like we say, we'll do the hard work for you. You go back and do your work. So you don't have to worry about Red Hat or any of those kinds of things. So you can really focus as the business on your asset management and reliability.
Interesting. So as I said, we've got a range of clients here. But what about these super secure federal agencies? Can they go to the cloud?
Actually, they can. It's a depending answer. If they're utilizing IBM's MAS for Fed, they have to wait a little bit longer. I think the current is Q1 of next year.
Okay.
However, there are partners that offer a hosting solution that MAS is installed to a FedRAMP sort of cloud certified, and the application with the MAS application with version 9.0 has received its FISMA authorization. So, IBM is putting together a full solution, which has to wait. But for other providers, such as us and others, we can take MAS once it has the certification, which it did June, whatever it was released, and now start to implement MAS in the secure cloud for those customers that require that level of security.
What what are the drivers you're seeing out there, and then how complex is this move to the cloud?
I don't think it's very, very complex at all. I mean, it's on-prem, cloud. It's, we're still pointing and implementing, the same way that we always have. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot of complexity in it. Matter of fact, I find it easier because you've got the resources that are managing the whole thing. About the only thing that I've ever run into an issue from an implementation perspective is I need something done quickly, because once you go to cloud, it's a very controlled environment, right? It's not like anybody can just go in and do things with it, which is the way it should be, right?
Right, and so it's almost really, again, I mean, you're painting a picture of it. It's actually a much more stable and secure environment.
And it's matured. So, 4, 5, 10 years ago, all these cloud providers were much smaller in their data centers. And back to the federal part, there weren't that many that could do that sort of higher level of security. But today, we can work with a customer and say, okay, you're physically located in the West Coast. There are a myriad of data centers on the West Coast. Before, it would be one here and one here.
I see.
Now you can pick from 7 or 8 geographically dispersed. Obviously, it's still, Maximo's a very chatty app, right? So you still want to be as close as you can possibly be between your systems and the actual data centers. So cloud has matured just like Maximo has.
And like you said earlier, and a lot of customers are traditionally used to manage around the work order, and even on the upgrade, they might currently, because their business processes are all around manage, and they may not have had predict and asset health and reliability strategy and all of that. Does cloud help them if they do decide to roll out some of these additional applications in the future?
I don't think it makes a difference, right?
Okay.
I mean,
so that's what you're saying, is that basically cloud's going to the aspect of whether it's cloud or on-prem is going to disappear in the background.
Yeah, so, to get not to be super technical, but when you install MAS now, it's an entirely different experience. So they can pick whatever they want. Red Hat really doesn't know or care. So if somebody wants to introduce health, it's easy. It's easy peasy.
Yeah. Wow.
I think what it does too is, if you do the hosting side and you got somebody that's taking care of that element of it, think about it from a resources perspective. All of our clients have resource constraints, right? So if you want to start getting into some more of those advanced technology, you actually want your resources, the client's resources, to learn those new technologies, the newest capabilities, right? And now they're not tied up with managing the environment. They can get involved with the implementation around, monitor, health, predict.
It makes a lot of sense. It's how we're using, all the apps on our phones and on our computers in general, right? And Microsoft now has us using the Office applications online primarily.
Exactly.
Google Docs and all
exactly.
that.
Exactly. And MAS is perfect for mobile, right? So it's not just sitting at the desktop anymore. So you can design mobile applications so that you can, give your mobile workforce more capabilities. It really has changed the mobile landscape.
Well, we're really excited about mobile because I think we did an asset management data governance study, and we found that the overall confidence or trust in asset management data is about 60%. And when we asked them the follow-up question, what would improve your trust? They said putting everything in a single platform. So because right now most of these people have to go to 4 or 5 or 6 platforms to find the holistic picture of their asset.
Yep.
Is cloud play any role in that? In data trustworthiness, or can you, can you or should you govern data better if you're in the cloud because of the cost of going up and down and that type of thing?
I think so, right? I think because when you're in the cloud, whether you've got security controls on your own or you're inheriting them from the cloud, you said gas stations versus whatever, what Amazon or IBM or Azure has to offer is probably a little bit better from a control standpoint than I don't want to pick on any gas station, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So you're buying that peace of mind as well as the hands off from the IT point of view. And when you work with certain providers, they have those qualifications so that data is secure. So for us, data security is paramount, and it becomes part of the fabric of the company. So we know that my team might be able to touch data because we're doing support, but there are folks in our company Skip can't touch.
Nope.
So we use least privilege, we use zero trust. So we can lock down data, and I think that gives customers a level of confidence.
Well, now you mentioned mobile. Can you lock down the data from a mobile standpoint?
Absolutely. So
So you would think mobile just inherently your data could walk away, but you're saying that you
Yep,
have,
there are strategies that you can do. There are you can lock applications down. You can apply the same sort of user security to mobile, but mobility can also be secured so that you can do things like we've got a product that can shut down the Wi-Fi, shut down the Wi-Fi radio, shut down the camera, and then for real government that is air gapped, we have something for that. But even out in the field, you can design a mobile solution so that they can still work and they can still work transparently, but they're still disconnected, so they don't have to worry about someone hacking in or just whatever. If they lose the device, nothing happens.
Is there anything that you want to give advice to the audience about how they should be preparing for this?
So typically what I've seen work the best is, most clients do an assessment to kind of get the upfront piece, and that usually tends to be more of a technical assessment. What I've seen work better is when you actually get the operations team involved and turn the assessment not just into an assessment about how we're going to do the upgrade, what cloud are we going to use, et cetera, but actually start putting some capabilities behind what you want to do and start building out that roadmap.
The business requirement.
The business requirements, exactly. So beyond manage, this is how you start getting into those more exponential technologies, and you plan for them now. Right. We talked on another session about mobility in particular. Mobility is going to play a big piece in a lot of those exponential technologies. If you stop and you think about, they're collecting all this data all the time. That data is going someplace, and eventually you're going to want to take that data and roll that into a predictive model. Right. So you want mobility to be as good as you possibly can get it up front. Right.
Because you're going to get a more data, and you're going to get a higher quality data.
Higher quality data. That's the big one, right? So what I've seen work more is, a lot of clients stop at the technical. Okay, we've got this many customizations. We're going to get rid of this, but they're not planning beyond that and working with their operations team to find out, hey, no, I can't wait until 2029 to start doing predictive maintenance. Are you kidding? Our competitors are doing it today. Right. That kind of thing. So building out that roadmap and being able to lay that out on a piece of paper. Most of the clients I've worked with find that beneficial, even from a budgeting perspective. It's like, well, no, budgets are coming up. We're talking about doing this. Let's make sure we have the money to get it done.
Nice, very nice.
And I would add, we've done some things, and it's as much as data is important, right? With going from any sort of legacy version to MAS, it's more about the data, right? You've got a whole new change in your licensing model. So user access, user entitlement, the introduction of app points. If you're going to stay on-prem, the technological platform, as complex as it is, it also is Linux-based. So there are lots of things to consider before you even hit that upgrade button, right? And those require different stakeholders, right? So you really need finance in there. When you're doing mobile, has a mobile implementer, the most successful mobile implementations has end user, the mobile workforce buy-in. There are stakeholders on that team. So there's lots of things that just should be considered. Like Skip said, the assessment, whether it's us, whether it's IBM, whether it's whomever, these assessments really will give you that blueprint that's more than in the past. It used to just be, I'm going to upgrade now, and and then we'll test it and we'll be good to go. There's so many other changes. The method of integrations changes. So there's just a lot to consider before you go to MAS. And then, do you do like for like? Do you just do Maximo for manage? And we try to talk to customers and say, if this is a great time to evaluate, do we look at monitor? Do we look at predict? Do we look at reliability? This is an opportunity, because it's fairly significant, to examine how far you want to now expand, your asset management across your enterprise.
So it isn't just to play it safe and get what you've got here over here and then grow. Is you can have the opportunity to actually add some functionality during your move
You could.
to the cloud.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, health, for example.
Yeah.
Having health when you move to manage.
Yeah,
right?
it makes sense,
That's a perfect one. So, I mean, it's a perfect time to do the planning correctly.
Well, and on that note, give the listeners one action. If you right now you had to tell them what's the action you would like them to take?
I would like them to to do the assessments with a roadmap mentality.
Great. So that they have their strategy.
So they have their strategy and the assessment.
What Yogi Berra say, if any road will get you there if you don't have a destination.
That's right.
So
that's right.
No, excellent. Any action you want to ask the audience to take?
I think I would say, and I've done hundreds of upgrades, I would say to just kind of open your mind to the possibilities, right? I wouldn't do, I'm just going to upgrade my data. I would really look to, there are times we're hearing customers now, we heard it the other day, that it makes sense to maybe just re-implement, right? So get out of that mold, just start over, may be easier than going through an upgrade. Very large customers, sorry, the gas station guys, but the very large customers, their integrations and their hundreds of reports and all those things that they do, that they've been running Maximo for 25 years. Now's a really good time to say, you know what, maybe it's time to just restart. And as daunting as that sounds, when you compare it to the level of effort, it may, and that's what they have to evaluate, right? So don't just look at it as, it's another upgrade. It's an opportunity.
Is the future bright or scary?
I think it's bright.
Yeah. I think it's blindingly bright. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, fantastic. Well, I can't wait till next year. We'll figure out how many people you've brought over the threshold, and hopefully we'll have them up here on the stage, maybe collecting an award or making a presentation here.
Sure thing.
Great. We'd really like to see the advance. I think it's a very motivated group of customers that really want to do the best that they can for their companies, for the world, though, also. They're really looking outside of their company and saying, how do we make this less wasteful? How do we make this more sustainable? That's a new kind of conversation that's starting to come in here also. So we're really looking forward to the work you're doing. Congratulations on joining Interloc. We think
Very happy to be here.
That's a really great match, and we're looking forward to seeing what the results are next year.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
you.
Scott. Appreciate it.
Terrence,
Skip,
thank
really
you.
great to see you.
You as well. Thank you.
Thanks again.